Hi guys! A handful of people have been complimenting me on the way that I've been designing my roofs for my buildings, so I wanted to show you the techniques that I've been using in case you want to try your hand at this style. I have to warn you though, it's a bit tedious. There's a lot of copy and pasting that you have to do, but I did discover a way to do a kind of a chunkier version of it that is much faster. So if you like this style but you don't want to spend the time on it, and want to do a 45-degree roof, it'll be a lot quicker. But yeah, and also please forgive me, I'm not used to this whole YouTube thing and speaking, so if I make any verbal faux pas or what have you, sorry. I don't mean to offend your ears. So first I'm going to show you my the top to my outhouse here, just to give you a basic idea of the concept. It's all really easy to understand. They're staggered. As you can tell, this is 1 voxel thick, and it's 2 voxels deep, and then they're offset by 1, so they're staggered 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down. So that's the basic, like flat version of the roof. And then over here, I have my lower pitch version of the roof on my swamp cabin, which is right there. Whoa! Give you an idea of how that looks, how that's put together. And then over here, I have the 45-degree version of it. It's kind of ribcagey looking. It's pretty nifty. The really cool thing about the 45-degree version, this one, I don't know about the fast one so much. You could probably do it with the fast one too, but then it'll start to get tedious again. If I can get in there. God, if we ever have PvP in this game, I'm going to die so much because I'm so bad at controlling these characters. Yeah, but the really cool thing about this version of it is the inside of it is flat, if you want it to be. You can make it staggered if you'd like, but you can also make it flat if you'd like. So yeah, I really need to make another exit for this house. So if you really like that 45-degree version, I'm going to show you the quick way of getting it. The quick and chunky. Ooh, don't fall in the hole. It's a deep hole. It's hard to get out of. Okay. It looks like this. That is the quick version of it. So as you can see, it's really similar, but just bigger. So how do we get this? Very simple. You make your frame. This particular scale is 2v2 or 2x, 2x, 2x. I don't guess the voxels are fighting with each other, which sometimes with the artifacting, I wonder if they do. So yeah, build your frame. You need stuff to put it on. When they do the tweaking part of the line tool, you probably won't have to build a frame, because you can manipulate it differently. Yeah. And then here's my line tool, which is also 2v2. Since this one's down, I start up. Very common sense, you can probably tell. Go say it anyway. And then out. And then I go in. And then down. And you can see how it repeated. You can also look that there's this artifacting that's going on right here. It's not as clean as the other ones. It's really easy to clean that up very fast. You just, after you get all your ribs down, you go back to your frame, select it all, and then refill it. And it makes it all pretty. Unless you want the artifacting. Some people have been doing some pretty cool looking things with that, so yeah. Now to show you the tedious part. I apologize in advance. This is going to take a while. So I'm going to show you first how to get this roof right there that I'm using. I start out just making the 4 corners, because once you have, excuse me, or you can even just make like 2 corners, because once you have that, it's easy to get the straightaways and the corners. So the first thing I do, if you can ignore, let me erase this real quick. Ignore the gold and just pay attention to the iron right now. I make this kind of tree thing that you see right here. I stack size 1 voxels on top of each other just to get it off the ground, so it's easy to copy and paste. And then this is the pattern I use. That's 2 up and 3 across, and then stepped up once towards the pitch. Then I make sure I have like the X like this for later for copy and pasting. You don't have to fill in all that the way that I'm about to show you. You can just do one side or one corner and you'll have enough. I would just select this right here. Oops. Stub it. No! See, look, I would die right there if somebody was trying to kill me. Maybe my spasticness will save me, because they won't know where I'm moving. They won't be able to predict. Because I won't know where I'm moving. So yeah, copy and paste, and you can stair step it down or up, whatever pattern you want to do. Since this one is up, I'm going to stair step it down. And then Control Tab, or Shift Tab rather, to rotate it. Put it on the other side. It's a little bit trickier here because you want to make sure that it's not only stair stepped up, but it's also slightly overlapping the one that you just pasted. So you have an even thing. And then I select copy paste again. Select Control, and then I'll put it here and paste it stepped up from it, and then rotate it and stepped up from it, and then select the inside version again, put it down, that kind of thing. Pretty easy, until eventually you get something that looks a little bit like this over here. And some people just like that. If you don't mind the voxelated look, go for it. You might be able to use the smooth tool on that and get something that you like. I hated the way it looked with the current smooth tool that we have. Maybe when they tweak it more, it'll look a little better. But it looked like putty to me, so I came up with a different method, which means putting these little wedges in everywhere. And you can't really tell, so I put a white one here, but there's a kind of wedge in there too. I'm going to show you how to get that. That's part 2 to being tedious. You make one of these things. Somebody on the YouTubes, can't remember who, can't find it because I looked for it for like 2 hours yesterday, was unable to find it. He showed us how to make 45-degree banisters, handrails for staircase using the line tool and 2 voxels. Oops, wrong button. So yeah, you get these 2 things, you make them float in the air, and then you take your line tool. See if I can get in there. I put it a little bit low, so it's going to be difficult. Again, whenever they do the tweaking thing, it'll probably be a little bit easier. Why do you insist on going over there? Any day now. Right. So the funny thing about doing it this way is, depending, it's finicky. Depending on which way your voxels are facing, you may create a new voxel and get this really cool wedge, or you may distort the voxels. Like, it doesn't actually create a new voxel, it just distorts the other 2. It makes it look like that space is filled when it's not really. So, because you can't select whatever's there, it won't let you. So what you do for your stagger ups is you select just the wedge, Control C, Control V, use the arrows to get it in the position and angle that you want in order to fill in that spot. and you can tell for that particular shape I don't actually overlap anything. I put it right inside here. Then you want this whole shape, so you'll select the whole thing, all three of them. 1, 2, 3. And then you'll go inside here and you put it inside each one. And then once you have that done, if you have 4 corners, well, you can play with the ends and figure out how you want your ends to be designed. If you look at my roofs, they're all done differently. I just play with finding these little edges and sticking them on there until they look good. So after you finish that, you select your quarter roof. You make sure everything is selected, including the ones below, because sometimes when you go out, you still have like that little bit. So you make sure all that's selected, copy, and paste on your 4 corners. If you paste 2 right next to each other, you can use this center 3 right here. You may need to, depending on where your wall is, you may need to play with these over here to get it to look and feel right on the wall. But you take it and you copy and paste it, slightly overlapping just 1 row all the way down until you get that going down. So that's how I do the 30 degree or 15 degree or whatever degree this is. I'm bad at math, don't ask me, I have no idea. Whatever that low pitch is, you do that. And then over here, we have, I'll show you the pattern that I use for the 45 degree angle one. If I can get this guy to line up. My mouse is getting stuck. Alright, so this is the basic pattern. Basically squares that are offset from each other, one up and one back. You're still going to use your little L that you made over here, your little funky L, but you're going to have 2 different pieces for this that you're going to alternate once you get the height that you want. You take the wedge for the staggered down, you take the wedge and you fill it in at the bottom, and you take the whole thing and you fill it in at the top. And it'll give you something that looks a little bit like this guy right here. And then for the stair step or the stagger up, you take the wedge and you put it on the bottom and the top of the diagonal. And you'll get something that looks like this little guy back here. And then you take and you copy and paste them next to each other. You kind of sandwich them. You may need to go in and tweak these little guys right here in the center. And then once you get a substantial enough size of them, you can copy and paste them and just overlap them one next to each other for the length that you need until you get a half a roof. It looks something like that. And you copy and paste that, rotate it, and you put it on the other side over here. And then you'll have almost a full roof. For this particular thing, when it comes to the ridge, I like to have that center one to stop the manipulated voxels from manipulating each other, because I don't want them to move anymore once I have them where I want them. I just want them to kind of stay in that shape. So having this center, this third guy right here down the center helps with that, because sometimes they're maybe they are fighting each other, I don't know. They don't always agree. So yeah, that is my roof design. Hopefully you find this informative and do something fun with it. Love to see it. I don't mind if you steal my ideas, because I know I'll be stealing from other people, because there's some really cool stuff out there. But thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day.